Well, we're all folded up and done rolling this field, but we're on to the next field. But before we get going, that's filthy. We gotta blow this radiator screen out real quick before it catches on fire. Does something before it does something it's not supposed to. Best way to blow them out is to get right back in the tractor. Now, thankfully, I don't have to stand out there and blow all that crap all over me. All I gotta do is hit this button right there, and I got a reverse fan, and it's all gonna start blowing out. Oh yeah, she's dusty. This little light will turn off here in just a minute. There it goes. Our regular fan's back on. And now just for the fun of it, I'm gonna do it one more time just to make sure we got everything out.
Alright, finally got done with Pete's farm. This is definitely our roughest farm, some of the most difficult fields. So it is planted for the year. It is all going to be smooth sailing and downhill from here. I sure know Andy's glad to be done with this too. I bet his back is stiff as a board right now. We're going to get on back to the shop. We got our next field right there close to the shop. We're going to fill up with a different variety of seed and see if we can get another 50-acre farm knocked out. Hopefully the weather will allow it. Kelly said new weather report came out, said heavy rain sometime between 2 to 4 p.m. So it's definitely clouded up. But tell you the truth, a slow half-inch to an inch of rain wouldn't be the absolute worst thing in the world. We're getting a little dry on this ground that we're planting into. We're still planting into moisture, but these cover crops, as big as they are sucking a lot of moisture out fast. So if we can get a little bit of replenishing rainfall, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
All right, our tractor is clean, our field is rolled, our crimper is folded. Now we just gotta turn our work off here. Gotta quit working. Now I gotta go put these little safety hydraulic things on before I go down the road. Go to the shop, help Kelly move a water truck, and leave Matt still out here planting so we can stay behind or stay ahead.
Alright, we're back here on the road again. Forgot to carry my camera out, but anyway, what we just filled up with is Phytogen 400, the second of our Phytogen varieties that we're planting. And in the past, this variety has either been really hit or really missed for us. Last year was kind of a miss, mainly because this variety is more of a mid-maturing variety as opposed to most of the other varieties we plant, which are early maturing varieties. You know, we're at almost the most northern latitude that cotton is grown at, and we just don't have a very long growing season for cotton. And that's why, you know, one of our biggest limiting factors every year on making top yield is getting enough growing weather to get the crop mature before we defoliate it. And well, last year we had an early cold snap there in October, and we defoliated before the cold snap hit, but still a lot of those top bolls that we had good cotton in them. We're just not quite mature enough to open up, and you know, we probably lost 2, 3, maybe even 400 pounds an acre on this variety. But you know, a couple years before that, it was our top yielding variety. It's got a lot of horsepower behind it. Just needs a few more DD60s to mature out than what our other varieties do. So I cut back on it a lot this year. We're only planting 50 acres of it. You know, kind of a gamble. But seeing how early we are planting this year and what a good variety it's been for us, I kind of wish maybe I'd picked a few more acres to put this under. However, back in, December and January, when I'm making my variety decisions, I just didn't know we were going to get an early start to cotton planting this year. But, hopefully, this extra 7 days or so that we're getting on the growing season this year, hopefully. And if you notice in front of us, our scenery looks a little bit different. You just don't see near the cover crop out here. And this was a farm that was in wheat and double crop beans last year, and we had it aerial seeded. And initially I thought we didn't hardly have any stand at all where we aerial seeded. It came up and a lot of it died. However, once spring come along, we realized, on the ground we planted corn on, we had quite a bit better stand than what I thought. It wasn't perfect by any means, but it was decent in most places. And kind of the same thing on this farm. We probably got a less stand on this farm than we did most of our other farms, and got quite a few pretty big bare areas. But initially I was planning on planting this into corn, but then we bought the module picker and decided I wanted a few more acres of cotton to run through that cotton picker this fall, so decided to put this farm into cotton again. Our process is going to be just a little bit different because we don't have a very thick cover crop stand. I didn't wind up doing any burn down strips in it because I didn't think there was enough here to justify doing it. And so what I'm doing is I'm just going ahead, I'm planting into it. Kelly's already sprayed it, and then Andy's going to be coming behind me this time and just kind of hitting the thicker areas like right here with the crimper, because it's not thick enough out here to cause me any issues planting or whatnot. So he's just going to come behind me and probably speed up this process just a little bit more, because like areas like right out here he won't even have to go over, just kind of hit the thick spots. So hopefully this field moves on just a little bit quicker. Well, so much for a good day. Looks like we're broke down. Notice an abnormal reading on my applied downforce. One row was putting down the maximum constantly, which for cotton at 1 inch deep shouldn't do. So went and do some investigating, thought maybe my depth control handle was broke, and it's not. We got a bolt here missing. This whole thing is that the depth control rides on. Bolt missing here. And then looks like a bolt broken off there, so letting all this slide down. Missing bolt don't concern me. The broken bolt concerns me. It looks like we're gonna have to extract it. Let me get this off and see what we're dealing with. Yep, sure enough, she broken off, and it's recessed too. You can't get any pliers down there. That's gonna be a fun one there. I'm going to go back shop, get a few tools. All right, I got lucky for once. Luckily, I was able to get a pair of needle nose down there up underneath it, and it slowly work its way out and came out pretty easy. So got me some new ones. Had to straighten this piece out because when we put down pressure, it pulled it back, and I think we got everything lined up. Put a couple new bolts in there, and we should be back in business. All right, got her all back on there. Andy's caught up with me. Looks like there might be some thunder boomers coming in. And Kelly's got about 42 acres sprayed in front of us that gonna take a long time to dry up if we don't get it planted before this rain gets here. All right, you might be kind of curious, how I found that out. That's all the way at the back of the planter, and visually you can't tell any difference. I saw it on this 2020 monitor right here. If you look right here on this map right here, you see one orange row right there, putting out maximum downforce the whole time, which is unusual, especially when all the ones next to it's not requiring near as much downforce. So then I went back and checked my actual downforce map, and then you see all that blue right there on that same row, which means that it's losing ground contact, which means that the unit is not going down far enough to make the gauge wheels hit the load cells and register. So if it's taking maximum downforce and still not making ground contact, then that means that the unit's trying to put seed all the way to China. There's nothing stopping the downward movement of the row unit. And in the past, that's been one of two things. One, either the pin on the Delta Force cylinder that applies downforce to the unit has come out, and you know the cylinder is extended all the way, but because it's not connected to the row unit, it's not able to apply any downforce. Number two, the depth control handle back there on the planter, Kenzie's is notoriously weak. I usually have to replace 1 or 2 a year, that the handle just breaks off, and then there's nothing stopping the row unit from going all the way down. Went back there and neither one of those was the cases, so this was a first for me. I've never had those 2 bolts break on me, but they're what connects the part of the whole row unit together. So with all that downforce, the row unit was kind of flexing up, and the depth control handle is attached to that piece that wasn't bolted down anymore, and just, you know, trying to put the seed all the way to China. But you know, if it hadn't been for that map right there, you know, I never would have known. You know, rain coming, I wouldn't have stopped out and checked the planter. I'd kept on planting, and we'd had 1 row across, you know, this whole farm, you know, another 45 acres or so that would have been put, you know, 3, 4, maybe 5 inches in the ground, and cotton would have no chance at all at coming up in those kinds of conditions. And then not only that, that was on an outside row, so when I came down one way, I'd have a row missing, and then when I turned right back around, the row right beside it would have been missing too, so I'd had a 2-row gap all the way across this field, which of course going to reduce yield, but also let weeds and everything else come up in that row, because it's not going to be any kind of shading effect from the cotton on missing 2 rows. Ideally, if something like that were to happen, I'd rather it happen on one of the inside units than the outside unit, because then you just got 1 row missing. You don't have 2 rows side by side missing. But regardless, it's fixed now, so see if we can get across a few more of these acres before we get rained out. I hope we do get rained out. A little bit of rain wouldn't hurt my feelings, but it'd be absolutely perfect if we just finished this field up right when the rains came. Getting closer and closer. We got over half this field done. We've got the field right there. We'll be done. We'll be caught up with what Kelly's got sprayed for us.
I got everything moved in, so you guys just need to take your equipment in when it does start raining. The weather service just went off on my radio, and I was like, yeah, we might get a little wet on this one. They were calling for some hail and severe thunderstorms.
It ain't looking too promising in front of me, and I thought I caught out of my peripheral vision a bright flash. I didn't hear no rumble though.
I can vouch to say that there was lightning and thunder all around us, because that's why I got a ride up to get to instead of walking. It's not going to be pretty.
Well, Andy, you're about to get training on another aspect of the job, racing to beat the storm.
Well, the opposite of the storm chasers today. I'm the storm runawayers.
That one's looking a little nasty. I know it probably doesn't show too much on camera, but it's mighty dark out here. Me and Matt are out here trying to get this last field knocked out before it comes a torrential downfall. And the wind is blowing, and we are still rolling. So I would say, even being surrounded by all-in glass, I believe this is my safest spot to be right now. Maybe not right under these clouds, but I don't believe I'm in too much of harm's way right now. Matt's actually going in front of me this time, because this one we didn't set any flags out or anything, and it's got some pieces that don't need to be rolled. So like right here in this dirt right here, my crimper is kind of tearing up the seed beds, so we're just going around them right now.
Doppler radar indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain across the warned area. Between 1.5 and 2.5 inches of rain has fallen. Flash flooding is ongoing or expected to begin shortly.
Well, y'all heard them. Yeah, you can't even see me now. It's dark out here right now. They said turn around, don't drown. On the highways, only on the roads. We in the field, so we're gonna keep on going until we can't no more, I guess. No, I don't like just, well, I am far behind Matt right now, but I don't like just a whole lot left on this little piece. Matt's over there. He seems to be moving on along. We might get this field knocked out before the rain comes. Gosh, dog.
Well, the first wave came through, but all I got is just to get over there to that tree line. It won't take me probably 15 minutes. I don't know if it'll hold off long enough. That ground pretty dry, so it'll soak up a little bit, but it'll get pretty sticky in a hurry. So racing to beat the storm yet again.
Well, we're definitely not gonna beat the rain. Good news is my tractor is blue again, not tan. But we got this little bitty field right here. It's done. We got that big field over there done. Matt is currently working in this field. He says he's got like just a pass or two left, and he's gonna head out. I can keep rolling in the rain a little while, but his planter kind of needs to scoot on out.
All right, Andy, I think the storm's gotten here. I got like 2 more rounds left. Why don't you just go ahead and head on in? I'll meet you back at the shop.
All right, that's what I'm doing. I've got this last little strip that I'm gonna fix up, and then I'm gonna head on out. The good news is my tractor is blue again.
Wash all that pollen off of it.
It did a pretty good job.
Yeah, I know this is probably a pretty big no-no. But again, this soil was really dry, and it can soak up a little bit. You know, it can soak up 10 minutes worth while I get the rest of this finished up. And it's not like I'm planting into plowed up ground either. That's all I got left anyway. We can do it. All right, that's it. Just in the nick of time. Starting to get just a little water pulling up here. But we got this farm done. We're completely caught up with Kelly, so we're not gonna have any, you know, dead cover crop to plant back into whenever we get back here in the field. Well, that rain's picking up too. It's definitely gonna do it today. Heck, I'm gonna get to go home before it gets dark. I'm not gonna know what to do with myself. Might get to watch a little TV tonight. Have a nice sit down dinner. I don't know how long it's gonna keep us out. We'll bring you back whenever we get back to planting again. I don't think they're being planted tomorrow either.
Move out of my way. Thank you, dog. Appreciate it. Ooh, I don't know about that. Ooh.
Well, as you can see, still pretty damp. We got another ½ inch yesterday around the storms come through, and there's a little bit of rain in the area, but it's definitely not going to do any drying out in a hurry. So we're back on here on this project. Andy and I worked over half a day yesterday, and I think we got about another 100 paddles put on, so should be approaching halfway done on this point. But while it's wet, we're going to get through as many more paddles as we can here. Well, we went from being really ahead from normal on cotton planting to being, we're now behind playing the scramble catch up, and things have definitely taken a turn for the worse. When we last saw you in the cotton field Wednesday afternoon, we got rained out, and that wasn't the worst thing in the world, but we wound up getting 1.5 inch pounding rain. Then we got another ½ inch the day after that. And then right as it was about to get dry enough to go back in the field on Saturday morning, we got another inch of rain. So now it's Monday. It's really a little too heavy to be planting cotton, but we're supposed to get more rain in tonight. Tomorrow, it's May 15th. To get full insurance coverage, we gotta be done by the 20th. If we don't get something planted today, it's probably not gonna happen. Plus these bags of seed that Andy's putting out is Delta Pine 2038. It's a true mid maturity variety that needs a little bit longer growing season, and a couple days difference in getting it planted could make all the difference in getting it matured or not. So we got a 60-acre farm this is going on, a thin hill farm that hopefully should speed up maturity. So we're gonna try and get it in the field this afternoon. Hope it comes up, which our other planted cotton might not. I'll talk about that when we get in the field. But hope this comes up and has a long enough growing season. And then our earlier maturing varieties, we got 2 of them left. We're going to wait and see what this rain does and save them for last.
Y'all see that rye? It is up over the wheels. So I'm glad to get this done and killed because I can't take it. Had a break for a couple days and now we're back out here. And gonna spray this field out here and then let Andy catch up. Matt will go behind and then we'll get that field back over there. It is already 2:30, so I don't know how far we're gonna get, and I have to leave at 6 because Carter has a game. So
Just waiting on the crew to get in front of me now. I finally halfway got cooled down. Let me tell you, you can go to a sauna in any spa anywhere in the world and it will not compete with West Tennessee when the sun is out after we got 3 inches of rain. Like, I don't think there's as much humidity in the Amazon rainforest as what there can be in West Tennessee. I ain't ready for it yet. I'm already counting down the days to the first frost. I am not looking forward to summer and months of just being wet from the time I go outside in the morning until the time I finally get back home at night, just being soaking wet from sweat. Most people around here look forward to summer, not me. I'm a winter person myself. But anyway, don't you just hate when you got a decision to make and either which way you could go, you feel in your mind is most likely the wrong choice? There is no right decision to make. That's exactly how I feel today. We're now late into the cotton planting period because we've been out 6 days now. I shouldn't be planting today because, for one, it's still a little too heavy. 2, more rain's forecast to come in tonight. And because of that, based upon what I seen that we planted last week, there's a reasonably good chance that this won't come up and will have to be replanted. But if I wait, the cotton that does come up is going to be delayed even more. Might not mature out before the frost. Might severely hurt yields. Whereas if this that I planted today, if it does come up to a good stand, it's going to be ahead and not going to have as much problem for maturity. But you see my problem, there is no right decision. And based upon what I saw this morning, checking the cotton that we planted last week, we planted into some of the best planting conditions we've ever had. And when I got out to checking seed, I was shocked. I found what I thought was a lot of seed that was rotten. A lot of the seed where it is sprouted and the tap root had started damping off. Only found just a couple of plants that were up. I didn't check all the fields and I didn't check over all the fields, so that doesn't mean that it's all like that, but just what I saw was disheartening enough. I did wind up calling my cotton scout, and he was in there. He came by and he looked at a lot more of it, and he's got a different opinion than what I do. He feels a lot better about it. He's not saying that I'm for sure going to have a stand and not going to have to replant, but I mean, we do need to give it more time before doing a determination of it. But based upon the conditions that we planted into last week, and then since we got rained out, it's been very warm. It hasn't been cool or anything like that. Really shocked me, because if it's been warm enough for the seed to start rotting that fast, it's definitely been warm enough for it to germinate. So I know the soil was saturated there for a little while, but I thought planting last week we would not have any problem getting the stand at all, but that first 200 acres, I don't know. Just have to wait and see.